Hi, I'm Jim Gordon.
I'm Lita Leapin.
And welcome to another edition of Our City Tonight.
We find ourselves on the first floor of Hydra Restaurant in their really cool wine bar.
Yeah, great spot to hit. Ground level, as Lita said, but let's get right to Our City Tonight.
Maui Memories from the Hawaii Food and Wine Festival is brought to you by the Kanapali Beach Resort, where the world comes to play.
Here at one of the great properties, the Kanapali Strip, here at the Sheraton Maui Resorts with their executive chef, Charles. Charles, we're taking some your time. Very busy right now with the festival and what you do here. We're in the sun. It's a beautiful day. We're going to do double duty with you here. Of course, you're a big part of the Hawaii Food and Wine Festival, which is part of why we're here. Talk about your involvement with that, your hotel's involvement, and then we'll get to what people can expect to enjoy here at the hotel.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Well, thank you. Yeah, so Sheraton Maui is the host of the Hawaii Food and Wine, especially the past few years as well. And we're so excited to have all these amazing chefs to be part of this year's lineup.
Yeah,
amazing, talented chef as well. To mention Chef Frank, one of your
one of our guys, from Vancouver.
Amazing chef.
That's right.
At the Blue Water. So yeah, very excited to be part of the amazing event.
You have, I didn't realize this, I've been coming to this area for many years. I didn't realize that you have 5 options for dining here at the Sheraton Maui.
Yes, we
tell
do.
our viewers about that.
Yeah, I mean, one of the best, my favorite restaurant is the Teppanyaki Dan, just because it's very theatric with the chef cooking right in front of you, and the engagement as well with your guests is amazing. And then of course we do have cliff dive and Mai Tai bar as well, right along the water. It's an amazing area to just come and relax, enjoy some great food, and also drinks with the great servers as well. And then of course our amazing luau.
Yeah. It's one of the things we're talking and learning more about while we're here is just the maintenance and the encouragement of the visitors to enjoy the true culture, whether it be studying history, visiting, but also in the culinary aspects. How important, you're from here.
Yes.
How important is it for you guiding the culinary ship here at the resort to hopefully educate people on the local cuisine?
Yeah, I mean, it's very important for me. It's just because, again, supporting. One of the things that we do here at the Sheraton is supporting locals, especially the farmers.
Yeah.
And implementing local flavors as well. I would say we're in a melting pot of so many different cuisine here in Hawaii, and bringing that back. Since I've been back home, since I've been gone for a while.
Yeah.
I'm coming back home and being, part of the Sheraton Maui and Ohana is a very exciting.
Well, there's something about Hawaii and its culture and its deep history, and there's nothing like it in Hawaii that encompasses that, like the Outrigger Kanapali Resort. And it's been around for 64 years, I've just been told.
Well, actually, since 1964.
1964.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, such rich history. And so tell us a little bit about how you maintain the culture here of this particular property.
We are very blessed to have 6 cultural practitioners aboard to share their deep-rooted culture here in Hawaii with our guests, so that they go home with a better understanding of the Hawaiian culture. Through the eyes of many cameras, it may have been different years ago. Even watching the impressive hula hula may have seemed like just a walk on the stage with cellophane skirts or coconut bras. We have enlightened that through our cultural experience here by sharing with our community, sharing with our guests about what hula is actually really about, the artistry of hula.
Oh, well, that's wonderful. And it's something about this property, although it has just recently been bought by a very large company, Outrigger, but you've been promised that it's going to keep that cultural integrity, all the beautiful history of it. And you were telling me a little bit about the trees that are on the property that really do showcase that.
Absolutely. You know, from what we share with our guests, you know, through our garden walks or garden tours, we share the la'i, the ali'i, which is behind us. We share the ulu, the breadfruit, because it is also symbolic for us. The town of Lahaina, for Lahaina was called Lele, and the saying was Malu'ulu Olele. There was also we used to call that the area of the flying breadfruit. Yeah, and but you know, breadfruit can feed an entire village, just one tree alone.
Wow.
So that's quite an impressive thing, but also talking about sustainability. Yeah.
That's wonderful. And, you know, I know that you have guests that have been coming here for 50 years and you've got all kinds of traditions. This property absolutely attracts a different type of traveler, and we've seen that. It's so quiet here. Just you can hear the birds. It's just a little bit different. And you had mentioned, as we wrap up here, that you have been awarded. What was the award the Hawaii Association gave this property?
They called this the most Hawaiian resort. And that was, you know, when people first heard it, when the hotel was named the most Hawaiian hotel, first of all, people went, oh, okay, that's a beautiful tagline in sales and marketing. That's not so. It was a prestigious group, the Wai'aha Foundation, who founded that title and presented it to our hotel for all of the work of enlightenment in the culture and the deep-rooted sharing that we continuously do.
Well, this gentleman was on the very first Maui Memories segment when we filmed this past summer in Vancouver at the Blue Water Cafe, where he is the executive chef. I would say one of Vancouver's best restaurants, if not the country best restaurants. Now we're in a really nice environment here, Chef Frank. I want to ask you, you came over here with a little bit of what we sampled in that segment, the octopus bolognese. You brought that over here.
I was able to bring it over here, and I was very sweaty at the Customs and Border Protection.
Right, yeah.
But it seems like seafood from Canada, frozen seafood and fully cooked seafood is eligible to come in. And the officer and I, we had a good chit-chat about many other things than that.
Let's talk about your time here. This is great to see you and all the other well-known chefs from all over the world sitting here chatting and catching up. And tell us about what you'll be experiencing here.
First of all, I have to say this is one of the best organized event I've ever attended. It's everything is. The updates are constant. Everybody's very helpful and reaching out if anything else is needed. And everybody's super friendly. And I'm just happy to be here and participate with all the other chefs. I had a full day of prep yesterday at the Sheraton, and once my day was done, we helped out the other chefs. It's a big family here.
I was going to say, a nice community here. Hey, listen, thanks for taking the time to chat with us for a few minutes, and we'll definitely see you back in Vancouver too.
Absolutely, thanks for having me. Glad to be here, and hopefully we can trade this one in for Blue Water.
That would be very nice.
Maui Memories from the Hawaii Food and Wine Festival was brought to you by the Kanapali Beach Resort, where the world comes to play.
Well, we finally got the guy on we've been wanting to get on the show for some time. We've got wine here. We're talking with longtime actor Dylan Walsh, and it is a great pleasure to have you here.
Good to be here.
Thank you. While in Vancouver, working on Superman and Lois. We got you just before you leave town too, so this is wonderful. We have a glass of wine. I mentioned to you at the beginning when you came in about just your resume. I've been watching you for years. I don't want to date you too much, but you're one of those guys that has been around the TV film landscape. And when I was looking at your bio, you've done a lot of stuff and have worked with some incredible actors. I want to just mention your first television role was with James Earl Jones.
Yes.
How was that as a young upcoming actor?
That was a great education. Great education. It was. I did a development deal for ABC, and we were trying to find the right thing for me. And they thought they would get me a lead role, and then they said, "Well, there's this other thing. You won't be the lead.
Yeah.
It'll be James Earl Jones as the lead." And I said, "That's what I want."
That's okay.
So I did that for a year. It was great. What a great guy. Great guy. Many years later, Leslie and I were in New York, and we were invited to this event at the Pierre Hotel to honor him.
Mm-hmm.
And we went in, and I hadn't seen him in so long. We walked in, and I expected Kelsey Grammer was there. There was a lot of people were there. And he had his table with his family, and we were invited to sit at his table.
Oh, wow.
He had just had good memories of me from, at that point, it was like 25, 30 years ago. What a great guy. But to watch him, he won the Emmy that year.
Yeah.
So I watched him all year struggle the way every actor struggles, but I watched him struggle and then win an Emmy. So
Yeah, and I guess at that age as a young actor, you're just soaking in everything. And especially if you're seeing someone whose work you admire, treating the craft with such great respect. And many actors get to a certain stage where they're just mailing it in or phoning it in. But how impressive was that for you as a young actor?
Well, his great commitment at the time, I had just seen him in Fences on Broadway.
Okay.
And every young actor at this time, this would have been late 80s, we were all just mesmerized by that performance.
Right.
And then that's why I said, I want to work with him when
Yeah.
I said it. And so I go, and look, TV's a different beast. It's a whole other deal. But to watch him, first thing I learned from James Earl Jones, cross out all the direction in the script. Every last bit of it.
Okay,
If
yeah.
it says he feels moved, nope. The words,
Yeah.
you have to say the words. That was his rule. We say the words, but you do not have to pay attention to what they're
Wow.
telling you to do. So he said that'll happen on its own.
You've had a great track record. Of course, Nip Tuck was a massive, massive show that also was in an era when you had to have great music in the show because it had to sell CDs and soundtracks. Talk about how you've managed to continue as you get older, taking on different types of roles.
Well, listen, I mean, the best thing I can say about myself is that I've been doing it this long. I start to sound like an old man, but honestly, that's what I'm most proud of. That's a lot of years. The resume gets longer.
Yeah.
You know, you're right. Nip Tuck stands out because it was a big hit, and it was such an honor to be a part of that. And of course, it was like a roller coaster ride. I loved every second of it. But I'm also proud of just the longevity, the whole breadth of the career. A lot of different things, some mediocre stuff in there. Some of my best work has been in mediocre things over the years. That's just the way it happened.
I've seen many movies where the movie has been mediocre, but I love the actor's performance. Not Spencer Tracy did a lot of mediocre stuff, but I always liked his performances in films. One of the movies, when we first got to know you through one of our producers, Neil, I said to you, one of my favorite movies of the 90s, and I'm a very big Paul Newman fan, is Nobody's Fool from 1994. You have a very large role in that movie playing his son.
Yeah.
Again, like I said with James Earl Jones, what are you watching with not just him, but Jessica Tandy? I highly recommend people look at this movie because he's 70 in that film.
Yeah.
But just to watch you guys work with him, again, lessons learned there?
Oh, yeah, I think I learned the most there. James Earl Jones, Paul Newman. Look, I was so thrilled, and it wasn't easy to get that part. The producer wanted somebody else, thought it should be a star, it should be this, and it went on for months and months and months. It's Paul Newman who said, no, he's the guy. He's him. We already have it on, we filmed it, we did a screen test.
Yeah.
He's the guy. He and Robert Benton stood up for me and they said, it's him or forget it.
Hey, listen, I'm so glad we got you to come in, and thanks to your wife Leslie and our producer Neil for making this arrangement for us, and we wish you continued success, and I will cheers you on this, sir.
Cheers. Good to be here.
We own the show, we can drink wine on our show.
Yeah.
Cheers.
Well, we are very excited to have our very own Our City Tonight professional hairstylist with us back on the show. And Always so great to have Bobo of Bobo's Philosophy Salon on, because there's so many weird things to learn and myths to cut through about hair. And first off, I'm going to ask our good friend Bobo, hairdresser or stylist?
It's only difference like hairdresser, it's a German origin word, a style it's English American. So people kind of think, well, what is the difference? There is no difference. We are artists basically for the hair.
You are artists, definitely.
Thank you.
I've been seeing you, well, long before the show,
Yes.
over 20 years. We were trying to figure that out the other day. So we're so glad you're on board with us
Thank
to
you.
continue. You're probably going to criticize because it's been a long day shooting, but I know he
That's
always
fine.
gives me that side eye when he's like, what have you done? Great hairstylist. But let's talk a little bit about, as I was mentioning, the myths of hair, because you've always been so good with me. From the day I met you, you absolutely squashed all these things that I thought were what I should be doing for my hair. Like, I've heard lately, don't wash your hair for a week to 2 weeks. It's better for your scalp. Now, you're on.
Yes, nowadays we have so many influencers, TikTok and you name it, all those platforms, and they are not professional people, and people coming and having such a strange issues with scalp. You have to maintain your scalp same as your face and skin, taking shower daily basis, washing at least every second day,
Okay.
at least the most 2 days, but still shampoo 2 times or even more that you feel clean hair. Huge difference as well, professional products versus cheap shops. And at the same time, now we can mention about those tariffs now. There is plenty of the Canadian hair products, great products that stylists use in salons, where you can get professional advice, an opinion and guarantee for quality versus those cheap stuff, which is American companies, made in China, quality, we cannot guarantee.
No guarantee
Yes.
at all.
So, and we see so many issues where people get really dry scalp or oily scalps and then not washing properly. And even though after 1 week they do shampoo once, oh, no. You have to shampoo like more than 2-3 times that you feel squeaky clean. And the way using conditioners and everything else. That's why that there is difference, amateurs or professionals.
That's part of having a really good stylist too, not somebody who's just upselling you into, the $100 shampoo that's not even designed for their own
Exactly.
skin condition. Now, does skin condition factor into this? Like,
It does.
Okay.
It does. Some people has the same as the rest of the skin, oily face skin, oily scalp could be caused by so many different things, especially with women with hormonal changes. Depend on your work, depend on the stress, so many things. When the stylists see that, we can help way more. And even though I had people would call me, oh, they have a dandruff. Can you come over and I see? It's not dandruff, it's just a dry scalp.
Oh, interesting.
Or overusing too strong shampoos, let's say that.
Oh.
Or who knows, different products. And at the same time, when we give them right products, they're coming back and they say, oh my God, you saved my scalp, my hair and everything, same as I save your hair.
You did. He really did save me. I came from a disaster, and he was very honest with me and kind and gentle. He could have. Yeah, that's why I've been with you so long. Also, I guess you're kind of a skincare expert of the head, and we spend so much money on our hair. Why wouldn't you spend a little bit more to make sure it's maintained?
Yes.
Yeah.
So that's a little bit more, but people are realizing, I say, once when you're switching from those cheap products to professional, how your hair feels way better, scalp feels better, much easier to style it, and at the same time, enhancing our work. Color lasting longer, the hair behave like in the way how it should behave, and then in that case, stylist is a good stylist. Otherwise, whatever we can do it, you go home and you pay $300 for the highlights, you go home and buy cheap stuff, then the hair is like, doesn't cooperate.
Yeah, why wouldn't you do that? It's like maintaining a luxury vehicle. Why
Yes.
would you put bad gas in there?
Absolutely, exactly.
Well, that makes complete sense. We always love having you on,
Thank you.
and we also appreciate all the good work you do
Thank
for
you.
us. You are still accepting new clients at
always
your...
like, yeah, never enough new clients. people moving around, and even though sometimes I cannot accommodate people in same week, fairly busy, but I find time for people always.
I also know people that have moved away that have been your clients that only come back to the city from far and wide. I was one of them for
Yes, yes. True.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you. We've got
thank you.
Bobo's philosophy, and just put up a little picture there of his poster, and definitely thank you for
No, thank
being
you.
on the show
Thank
again.
you guys for having me. Appreciate it.
Anytime.
Thank you.
This segment is sponsored by the Richmond Sentinel, providing news, entertainment, and human interest stories in print and online. He's a Canadian actor, producer, director, and stuntman who has appeared in over 50 films and television shows worldwide. He's an author. He's been in documentaries. He's got lots going on. And I didn't know, as we welcome Douglas Vermeeren. Sir, welcome. I didn't realize, we've known you a while, I didn't know that you started your career as a young child actor in a CBC after-school special.
Well, you want to know something even funnier? I started before then as an audience member in Calgary on CTV's Buckshot when I was 5. So that's how I really got started.
Wow. Okay.
But you want to hear a funny full circle story?
Sure.
So Ron just passed away, as we know, Ron Barge.
Yeah.
But so I did probably 3 or 4 episodes of Buckshot, admired him and all this stuff. And then years later, they did something called the Calgary Sun's Celebrity Pizza Pig Out.
Okay.
And guess who they gave as my partner to help me navigate the pizzas?
Who?
But Ron Barge, Buckshot. So it was really
I've
funny.
not heard that name in a lot of years. Boy, showing our age. You know, I got to ask you, and I always like to ask actors this, because all kidding aside, the transition from child actor to what you are now, what we'll call, I think, an adult.
I hope.
Although I've
Some days.
some days, yes. It's fraught often. It's a challenging journey. Can you talk briefly just about how you went from the child to a successful actor that you are today?
Sure. Well, I think the thing that was interesting is I remember as a kid not really understanding that this was a career or it was something that I could do for a living. In fact, my favorite part of being on set was the jelly-filled donuts at the craft services table, right?
It's still the same here, folks.
And it's still maybe the same.
Yeah.
But it was interesting when I made the deliberate choice to pursue this as a career. That's, I think, when it took on a whole new meaning, and I almost had to relearn everything that I was participating in,
Interesting, okay.
because I didn't have that perspective yet. I was just kind of like there having fun. I'm still having fun, but now I'm doing it with purpose. And it was interesting that how everything kind of changed, everything from even adding to who I was in terms of like acting lessons and, you know, now taking serious the productions that I would choose. So I would say yes, and even looking at my management and my agents different and things to making sure I had a good team rather than me just going out having a good time.
It's interesting too, because I've heard directors talk about child actors where they're I don't know if I get the phrase right, but where they're conscious of their acting,
Right.
and that's something that has to be broken.
Right.
Am I right about that?
I would say so too, because when I was doing it before, actually that first CBC After School special, it's funny, it's a show called Mildred McFall. I've never seen it, so I don't know, but I was a newspaper boy in it riding my bike. And when they brought me onto the set, I'll ride my bike quick so I can get back to the craft services table, right?
Yeah.
Like, so I just did the activities that they'd asked me to do without it really considering a camera. And then as now I've been older, considering the characters that I want to portray, I'm not trying to just bring an activity to the camera anymore. I'm trying to bring a full character there, and also something that I feel is a worthy performance, right?
And we should say, speaking of characters you play, you've got so much going on right now. It'd be easier to talk about movies you're not in. And I say that as a compliment. One of the things you're in right now that I'm keen to see is the 6-episode documentary series called Mafia Spies, based on Mafia Spies' inside story of the CIA, gangsters, JFK, and Castro, about killing Castro. Of course, Sinatra will be all over that as well.
And he's in it.
He's in it, yeah. But you've got lots going on, as I said. Unnatural 2. You're playing Lucifer, working with Whit Whitman. And I guess as an actor, you're also a director. You must soak this stuff in. When you can work with directors, writers, other actors, you're a sponge, I would think, right? Because you're always learning.
Yeah, and it's interesting because every director that I've worked with kind of has a different style. Like I loved Mafia Spies, and Mafia Spies is now on Paramount Plus, so people can see it right now. So I was the lead FBI guy on that. But the thing that was interesting is they were really looking to share the historical sort of aspect of how literally the CIA did team up with organized crime to eliminate Fidel Castro. And there were so many things that I didn't know about that to me, I was not only acting in it, but as a student of history, I was learning, and I was being part of such a, let's say, secretive part American history versus playing Lucifer. That's a little different, right? I mean,
But that's really, I mean, the next thing I wanted to ask you, I mean, I'm looking at what you're doing. I mean, just last year, filming Unnatural 2 in Kentucky, then you head over to Cannes, then you're in the UK.
Right.
You've been around the game a long time. Is it different now than if we're talking in 1995? In terms of being able to act globally in productions around the globe?
Yeah, I think the whole industry has really changed. First of all, I mean, now we've got the streaming services. Streaming services are always looking for content, and so I think just the filmmakers that they're working with have changed. And then, of course, if we look at technology, which has changed the kind of equipment that's available that makes almost anyone a filmmaker. And of course, now we're dealing with all budget ranges, where before you had to have quite a bit of money to make something worthwhile, broadcast worthy. And so the industry's just totally changed. And because that's changed, we're also dealing with experience levels that are different, from directors to actors to even the scripts that we're working with. And sometimes it's neat because you're seeing these people who maybe weren't given a chance that are now producing these incredible productions, right?
Yeah.
And so it's sort of leveled the playing field a little bit, and that's something that I'm super excited about. And then, of course, I don't think I would be as busy as I am had there not been so many, like, let's call it filmmakers or players on the field, right? So there's so many opportunities that are now that if somebody wants to do this as a career, I think it's the best time that it's ever been in the history of the world.
Listen, I commend everything you do, and you are you certainly have a lot in your arsenal, which is what you need in this business.
Thank you.
Hey, more information, DouglasVermeeren.com.
Yes.
And you've got a very active website. I thank you for joining us. You're busy as hell, but we appreciate you joining us here today.
Excited to be here.
Cheers.
This segment was sponsored by the Richmond Sentinel, providing news, entertainment, and human interest stories in print and online. Closed captioning and other promotional considerations provided by Hamilton High Street Senior Residence, Richmond's newest senior living community.
Well, back here where we began the show, ground level of Heater Restaurant in their very cool and cozy wine bar.
But it is the end of the show, so Jim and I are going to actually have a glass of wine as soon as we're done.
That's right. Don't forget, though, to check us out online. Lots of past episodes, photos, and a whole lot more. You can contact us there, too. OurCityTonightTV.com. I'm Jim Gordon.
And I'm Lita Leapins.
We will see you on the next edition of Our City Tonight.
You can contact us and watch past episodes at OurCityTonightTV.com. The Richmond Sentinel, providing news, entertainment, and human interest stories in print and online.